You feel about the statues and different things coming down, the racist statues. A lot of companies now are pledging their allegiance to Black Lives Matter. I was even looking at YouTube, and the CEO of YouTube now is pledging her allegiance to Black Lives Matter. How do you feel about that? You think it's just a gesture, a fad, or you think that that's a real deal? A lot of these companies and stuff now doing what they're doing.
I don't want to be a person to not even give them a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If down denouncing it, speaking out against it, even though it was there for a long time and it's evident what it represents. Some of these statues are just outwardly disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to be the guy to close the door and say, "Oh, they full of." Can you curse on here?
Yeah, do your thing, bro.
I don't want to be like, they full of shit, or just count them out. You know, racism always existed. You know what I mean? The oppression of our people always existed, but they kind of spit in the wind with the camera phones. It kind of came back to haunt them because now it's in our face vividly. You can see it. You know what I'm saying? So just to answer your question, I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like it's a great thing that they're tearing down the statues, and it's an even better thing that some of these are speaking against it.
Right. You dropped something on your IG when the young lady was out there marching with her family, and she was saying no justice, no peace. She was probably no older than 6 years old, but we seen the passion in her eyes. And you said, "I love this young queen, and I don't even know her. She has so much fight inside her." Made me sad when I first seen this video, seeing our youth walking in these streets screaming for justice, knowing her ancestor did the same, knowing my generation did the same, gives me a forecast that our children may have the same fight ahead. When is it going to end? We have conversations about that often. We've had various people on here and asking them that question. When do you think it's going to end? Because we see it continuing. We've lived our entire lives with racism, and now we're seeing our children have to deal with it. But this generation is slightly different. It may be a little bit of light at the end of this tunnel. When do you realistically see change coming our way?
I'm seeing things now that I have never seen in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just the reaction, how the entire world getting involved. You know, back in the 60s and even before my time, you know what I'm saying? When they did it, they were adamant about it, but it was a couple of errors that they made, and the movement wasn't able to be as contagious as it is now, where you see it in Paris, and you see different parts of the planet, people are coming and speaking out against it. So that's what's giving me a more of a hope to say, damn, maybe this could change if we all pull together, because it's not Black people that's out there. You have different people from different walks of life who are saying, I'm against this. I'm not with it. So, I feel like this generation kind of learned from the mistakes that they made back then and said, all right, our ancestors taught us, to fight back, but we're going to correct in the areas they did. They've been tearing down, not just tearing down their own neighborhood. A lot of people say, tearing down your own neighborhood. No, we don't own Target.
Yep.
Businesses, we don't own that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They actually have been tearing down other things to make a statement to say, we're frustrated, we're outraged, we feel oppressed, we feel bullied, and we're going to strike back. If you think this is going to continue, you're going to get away with it, that's not going to happen. So, it's certain things like that makes me feel like a change possibly can come, man. I don't want our people to be hopeless, like we got to live with this forever.
Yeah.
I made that post. It upset me when I seen that young lady, that little girl, marching, because I love her spirit, I love her energy, but it just took me back to when I was a kid and I seen footage of Dr. King marches and I'm saying, different fights our people were fighting, and I was just looking at women being attacked by dogs, and different people were out there of all different ages, and now you bring it up decades later, you see a girl out there and she's still crying for justice. Why still have to walk in the street and scream for justice? Other nationalities don't have to do that. It just comes. So at the same time, I was happy and I fell in love with her spirit and her energy. It made me sad because I said, damn, that's a little girl. By now, she should be born into justice. She should be born into freedom. She shouldn't have to fight for it and scream for it in the street.
Right.
It was just like a double-sided thing with me with that.
Right. How important do you feel is for the rappers now, and even before now's message to be not one that's a tearing down, but an uplifting message? I mean, you've been one, that I've seen that has really, had a big time evolution when it comes to really putting a positive message in your hip hop, in your rap. So how do you feel like artists' obligation is to make sure that they're on par with what's going on and not continuing to feed the youth a lot of nonsense?
I feel like majority of the artists, not all of us, some of us actually come from the ghetto. We actually come from hard upbringings. So we're going to speak about that. But in my music, you know, I speak about that, but I also give a solution. You know, if the problem, what's the solution to the problem? So I try to educate and try to school people and teach them things, because for me to go walk down that path and learn that it's not all glitz and glimmer, it's not all good when you try to live that certain lifestyle and not share that with young kids who are coming up, I'm giving them a real disservice. I'm not being honest with them. So to answer your question, I feel like artists are obligated to tell the truth to the youth. Let them know, you know, if you're going to be in them streets, there are consequences to them streets. You know, if you're going to live this certain lifestyle, there are consequences to them lifestyle. There's a such thing as karma. So know that anything you do is most liable to come back to you. So always keep that in your mind and put family first. You know what I mean? These are things we got to pass down, because to be honest with you, the old timers passed that down to us when we was coming up. Got out of line, they punched us in our chest. You know what I'm saying? They told us right from wrong. They made us understand you can't just walk around, everything is a go just because you get money from it. Everything is all good. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he did X, Y, Z, but he getting money so that he get a pass. Nah. You got to educate them and let them know it's all about being a man, being responsible. These are things that should be passed down. And I feel like, you know, some young kids, they might not pick up a Louis Farrakhan speech and listen to it. They might not listen to I'll just say like a Obama or somebody positive out there, but they'll pick up the latest rap album and listen to it. So slip a jewel in there every here and there. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing.
Absolutely. And not only in your lyrics, but now you see on social media, they're watching their favorite rap stars. They're seeing their favorite celebrities. And one thing that I admire about you a lot is what you portray. Now, not only are you a father, but you're a stepfather. You're a father with a woman that you're not with. You just have all different aspects that a lot of men can relate to. All of us can relate to that. Yet you stand tall, you stand firm. It's a tall, positive, male, black image. Talk about the importance of portraying that. And do you pay attention to that when you put up social media posts and things like that?
Well, actually, you know, the response that I got showing that of me, it wasn't planned. You know what I mean? It was just how the people reacted to it. You know what I mean? But I think it's very important to show that. Very, very important, because, you know, we lead by example, and they're paying attention. You might not think that, but they're paying attention. So when they got a certain amount of respect for you, you might be the only person who can translate some kind of positivity into their life. That probably can save their life. You know what I'm saying? Because they believe in some of the shit out there, some of the negativity that's put out. They believe, you know, I'm going to be a gangster, I'm going to be a thug all my life, and, you know, it's going to be all good. They don't know that there's a downside to that. You know, and as far as the family aspect of it, family is very important. Very, 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 very important. You know, and I always tell people this. When I was a kid, I remember being real young, and I could look on the wall and see pictures from my mom's and my pop's wedding. You know what I mean? My pops had on all white with the Jerry curl. You know what I'm saying? My mom's had on the ill wedding dress as a kid. That made me say, damn, I want to have a wife one day. I want to have a wedding. So that gave me a goal and a respect for women, not to just be out there and disrespecting women and feeling like I can use and abuse them any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, sometimes when you put positive images like that in front of a child, they can grow up to be a responsible man or a responsible woman.
Right. Could you talk about, you know, fatherhood as well? That's something that you, you know, have shown a lot of people, you know, that you're great at that as well. Holding down, you know, Remy, she was locked up and all that. Talk about fatherhood, man. It just is being an exemplary father as well.
Yeah. Being a father is very, very important, man. I mean, sometimes when a child doesn't have a father, they start looking into the wrong people as a father figure.
Yeah,
it's a female, unfortunately, that can end up being a pimp. You know what I mean? Who she might look at as a father figure, or somebody else. You know what I mean? Another negative type of person. You know, being a father is very, very important. Words can't even describe it. You know, My father gave me tough love as a child. You know what I'm saying? When I did something wrong, he checked me. And kids need that. It's not all good when you're a father. You're not going to yes your child to death. You're not going to spoil them. You're going to show them right from wrong and guide them through life. You know what I'm saying? So a father is definitely the guiding light of the family, and that's just that strong backbone. So all fathers, all men out there who are giving birth to children, I would advise you to be a father to your child. You know, instead of going to the club, going to the cookouts, going to the hangout, spend that time with your child. Teach them. You know, we're always condemning the youth. Oh, they do this wrong. Look how they dress. But if nobody's teaching them or nobody's passing, you know, certain knowledge down to them, what can we expect? To extent, you know, a lot of the fathers failed some of the kids from this generation. Not all of them, because some of them are good money, but some of them will fail because they didn't have a father figure in their life. And you can't just be a father just to say you have that title. You have to teach. You have to have patience. You have to show up to their graduations. You know what I'm saying? Support their endeavors. Ask them what they want to be as they get older. You know what I mean? So all of that is just important. I could go on and on forever, but being a father, man, it means, you know, anything for my family. I stand in harm's way to protect them. So it's very important in a household.
This is very dope, excuse me, to be doing, man, because we've watched your evolution and your growth pretty much throughout our whole lives. We're not too much younger, too much younger than you. From 98 to now, man, it's been an incredible journey to watch your evolution. Who is Papoose in 2020?
And it's crazy you asked me that, because in 2020, I'm a father first before anything.
Word.
Father, you know, a dedicated husband. I'm a proud representative of Black love, who stands for his people, and a poet. I mean, those are some of the things. I'm an entrepreneur. This is how I provide for my family. Aspect different businesses, things I invest in. So, you know, just to give you a couple different titles that I wear: a father, a proud married husband, a representative of Black love, and an individual who stands for his people.
I want to transition a little bit and talk about snitch culture, because you had something very interesting to say. You know, on that, you pretty much said, I think it was a couple years back, you said, or last year, you said that snitching was morally wrong. Could you talk about the snitch culture and go into that a little bit?
Yeah, I basically made a statement like that, and you know, it's crazy to put that up because just the other day somebody just took that out of nowhere and twisted around. But what I was actually explaining was, you know, if you look at the police, they got the blue code. You know what I mean? Wall of silence, whatever they call it. The mafia got code of silence, La Cosa Nostra, whatever you want to call it, right? You go into politics, they got gag order.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They plead the fifth. You know, all other walks of life, they have these different things set up to protect their own. Why is it in our culture they always try to make us feel like it's okay to snitch? It's not. People look at it like, oh, that's some street shit. I get it. But it's not just about the streets. It's morally wrong to do that. And if you look at people from all different walks of life, they don't do that. They don't rat on their friends. It's just not something you do. So when I said it's morally wrong, that's what I was pointing out. If you look at all the different walks of life besides ours, they don't tell on each other, from the courtroom to the police force to the Italians with the mafia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody does it because it's more. Everybody look at it as some street shit. Oh, that's some street bullshit. It's not just about that. It's about honor and respect. You know what I mean? Especially if you take part in an action, in a crime or something to that degree, and then, you know, you equally take part in that crime, and now that y'all get caught and arrested for that crime, you're blaming it on your friend and giving up information. That's just morally wrong. Because my grandmother always said, you do the crime, you do the time. So, you know, if you do a crime with someone, you don't shift the blame. You got to man up and handle the responsibility for your actions.
Absolutely. We had Freeway Rick Ross on here a couple weeks ago now. It's crazy. A couple weeks ago, and we asked him the same question, and he said snitching is just a part of the street culture is everything else. We had Goods on here a couple of days ago, and he confirmed that. He said, yeah, he'd agree. What do you think about that? It just being a part of the culture as much as everything else.
They said snitching is or not snitching?
Snitching is a part of the culture as much as everything else.
What they mean by that? I don't understand. Like what they saying?
I guess they saying like, you know, it just comes with the game. Like if you in the game, you're
Yeah.
doing that, you probably gonna get snitched on. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a part of it. Snitches come with the game. So what I interpreted it as.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate game. I wouldn't embrace it and say, "Oh, that's a good thing." I would definitely say that's a bad thing, and it's an unfortunate part of the game. Yeah, you know, it's a downfall.
Mm-hmm.
So at any given time, you can take a downfall. So yeah, if you look at it like that, I would have to agree with them. It's part of the game. It can happen to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that aspect, I agree.
Word. Let's talk about some music a little bit, man. Transition. You got a single out, Tribute, out right now. The title is called obviously Tribute, man. Can you talk a little bit about why you named it Tribute and what's the meaning behind that?
Yeah, the reason why I named the track Tribute was because I just wanted to salute and give tribute to those who fell victim to racism and police brutality. And it's so many people that it's ridiculous and it's sad and it's depressing. You know what I'm saying? So my music is definitely my avenue that I use to express myself. So I created the song to to pay tribute to them and, you know, let their names live on.
Who was Pap listening to these days, man? What artists, you know, are you bumping now?
Right now, with you, man, I listen to cool music, man. If you was to go on a car ride with me, you would be like, yo, what the hell's going on? You know what I'm saying? I still listen to Big.
Yeah, me too.
I listen to G-Rap. And this talk, like my wife will tell you this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listen to classical music, you know what I mean? I listen to Luther Vandross, you know what I'm saying? Like oldie but goodies, McFadden and Whitehead, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just like classical music. You know what I'm saying? There's a few artists nowadays who I can fuck with some of their music, but I'll be fake if I say and tell you I could tolerate all of that shit. Some of it's garbage, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's a few here and there that I do like. You know what I'm saying? I like some of Meek shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple more, man. I like a couple songs though, man. Like if a song got like a dope message, or they just saying some real shit, I rock with it and I listen to that shit. I burn it down. You know what I mean? So, just a variety, but mainly I listen to old school music, man.
We always talk about here independent versus signing in a label, deal versus non-deal. So you got the RocNation hat on. We have conversations a lot about RocNation. Some good, some criticism. Somebody that may know a little bit more than we would about RocNation. Talk about RocNation. Talk about some of the good that they got going on over there and why artists should maybe get with them if you believe they should get with them over there at RocNation.
Oh, well, I believe artists should get with RocNation because when you're an artist and you out here working, you know, eventually you start getting shows, you start getting booked. That's how you make your money. But if you don't have a hot record or you don't have a cult following, you're not going to make no money off of shows like that. But when you're on a place like RocNation, they have relationships where they can just put you on shows. From my observation on the outside looking in, they take their artists and they create opportunities for you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like me when I was on Violator. You know what I'm saying? Everything wasn't just... Chris Lighty had that platform. He was able to pick up a phone and say, hey, y'all shoot a movie? I need Pap in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, y'all have a brand that needs to be promoted? I need that check to go to Pap. So a place like RocNation is a great platform for artists because as artists, we are only human. And sometimes as a human being, you take a break and you're not working as hard as you should be.
Right.
They create opportunities for their artists to go out there and make money. That's for me on the outside looking in.
Right.
I want to ask you about the Sheether, man. I know it was a couple years ago, but I want to ask you, when you first heard that, what was your thoughts when you heard the Sheether disc with Remy Ma?
Man, I'm not speak on that, man. That's just
all right, man.
Speak on that.
Musically, obviously, you got a lot going on. You still in your bag doing your thing. Is there going to be a video out for Tribute anytime soon?
Yeah, it is. Actually, when I initially did the record, I put a visual out for the record, which actually showed different clips of, unfortunate situations of people who were actually murdered by police brutality or racism. And that, I feel like that was really a really good visual. But I want to do another one. So to answer your question, yes, there is going to be a video.
Dope. And now another question I want to ask musically: will we ever see a Papoose Remy album? I think people would love that.
Yeah, a lot of people ask that. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? To be real with you, man, y'all gotta ask her that. You know what I'm saying?
We would love to. Anytime your wife want to come on this platform, she has more than welcome to.
Nah, I think so. You know what it was? My wife was away for a long time. She had first came home. I just wanted her to do her. I didn't want to cloud that in shape, form, or fashion. You know what I mean? I even put my career to the side in water management, and because I just wanted her to see her win so bad and get back in the position that she deserved to be. So, now she's rich again. You know what I'm saying? She's doing her thing. She's investing in property. So eventually, to answer your question, yes, I can see that project in the future.
You talk about that a little bit because I heard Remy say on one live stream that, she pretty much, was a millionaire. She went in, she became a millionaire again, man. Could you talk about how you helped facilitate that and just held her down through all those tough years?
Yeah, definitely, man. I can't even sit up here and say it was easy.
Right.
It was just an unfortunate situation, man, that took place, and I couldn't be a coward and run and leave her for dead. You know what I'm saying? I just had to support her, and I feel like she deserved to be supported. It was hard, man. I had CEOs, racist CEOs, telling me, hey, when I first even went to visit her upstate, I remember one time a CEO was real disrespectful, and he was like, "Yo, come over here." I came over here. It was like the second time I had came up there, and she was like, "Yo, why you keep coming up here every day?" I said, "What do you mean?" And her response was, "She ain't going nowhere no time soon. I'm coming up here every day." You know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving you an example of how they try to discourage you from supporting your loved ones when they see you doing something. They need to isolate them so they can do all the foul shit to them. You know what I'm saying? But eventually it became a little easier for us. We just built our life, and I set up my household as if she was still there. She just couldn't physically be there. But, if I had an incident or a decision I had to make within the household with the children or somebody, I would wait till she called and we would talk. You know what I'm saying? If it was one of their birthdays, we would sing happy birthday. She would just be on the phone. Every holiday, we went up there to visit her, and then we continued with our day. But the first thing, we did was we sat with her, and I traded information. I gave her as much information as possible so she can feel like she was still involved in the outside world. Because what prison does is it takes your loved ones from the outside world, and it kind of sets them back. Most people who become incarcerated, they get frozen in time. That's why you see brothers come home and they still moving like it's back in the days, because their loved ones aren't letting them know and keeping them updated with what's going on. So I shared information with her, and I just kept her involved in my everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Eventually we got trailer visits. So we was able to spend every 6 weeks, we were able to spend intimate time together. And it was hard. The hardest part when she was away was when we was filing for her appeals. And we would be looking forward to her winning her appeal and coming home. And then we would get the information that her appeal was denied. So those was like crushing blows, because that was the reality setting in, that she was going to have to do the 8 years. But we was fighting all the way through. I set up a bus ride. I loaded up a Greyhound bus with all of my family members and loved ones, and we drove up to the courts of the state for one of her appeals, and we were all hoping that she was going to get it, but she got denied, and eventually she had to do all of that time. But the hope that me and her shared of her getting out early was one of the things that kept us going through that bid, because we was just hoping that it was going to happen. But that through that time period before we got let down, that hope and that faith kept us going. You know what I'm saying? So it was a tough time, man. It was a tough time. And just to see her suffer, you know what I mean? It made me frustrated, because there was nothing I could do to help her. I was one of the people that was telling her, "You're going to beat the case." You know what I'm saying? And she was telling me, "No, I'm going to blow trap." So when she blew, it was just like a devastating blow. But we stayed together. We stayed loyal. We communicated. And we happily ever after now, man. We good.
Social media, how do you guys, handle that? I know it wasn't like it was back in the day. Now I know every day it's a new article, new something. about you guys. How are you able to weather the social media storm now, being such celebrities?
I try to roll with the punches and learn it as I go along. Social media is a place where that's why that's why they say they have followers. Everybody kind of like follows. So if you make a post on social media, or anybody makes a post, that first person that go in the comment and write a negative comment, you might see 15 more negative comments, or the caption that they put might dictate it. You know what I'm saying? So you have certain blogs who might put something positive up, and everybody say something positive. But if they put something negative, everybody eject the negative. So it's more like a leader follower type thing. Everybody follows trends and they do challenges. I take part in challenges sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So you really just gotta, to be honest, you can't take that too serious, the negative things. You know what I mean? But the positive, you always could take that serious and try to build on that. But don't really feed into the negative and get caught up in that. Some people I see get caught up in it and they want to show guns on social media and threaten people on social media. My thing is this: if I got a problem with you, I want to contact you as a man and speak to you as a man. I'm not gonna go on social media and say, "Yo, he's a bitch,
Right.
he's this, he's that."
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that. Somebody will go on their phone, they'll scroll right past their contacts, and go to the social media app and talk about you, and your number was right there in their contacts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can't take that too serious, man. You just gotta take the positive out of it and build on it. Because to be honest, a lot of people make money on social media, and that's a great thing. A lot of people sell different things, promote different brands, and get a check and promote themselves. So that's the positive side. But the downside, you can't feed into the negative on there because it's an illusion. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna harm you through an app.
That's a fact. Let's talk about